go. United Front. Tahir RBG. Yeah. Let's go. I can't shake it loose. This the hate produced. I'm here to break the noose and fight the devil. Ain't no truce. Raise it another level. Shame the devil. Say the truth. And look him in his eye when the enemy's facing you. I can't shake it loose. This the hate produced. I'm here to break the noose and fight the devil. Ain't no truce. Raise it another level. Shame the devil. Say the truth. And look him in his eye when the enemy's facing you. You peak pale skin beast. I hate your red, white, and blue. And Ku Klux Klan sheets. I hate your president, your senate, and your campaign speech. I hate the British and the Romans and the goddamn Greeks. It's no peace, yeah. Moral persuasion doesn't work with Caucasians. You speak this language through violence with guns blazing. So what I'm saying, negotiating with Satan is to waste of time. You out your African mind. Gonna make these devils pay for every single crime ever committed. Cracker, you did it, now it's time to die. I sprayed a ratchet, I blatted, no moving backwards. I'm sending bullets at crackers and all faggots. Forward is the motion. Killing devils on different levels, concocting potions to stop them from encroaching. On our way of life, I got a knife to slit his throat quick. Get my people hyped, cause what I write is always dopeness focus. I can't shake it loose, this the hate produced. I'm here to break the noose and fight the devil, ain't no truce. Raise it another level, shame the devil, say the truth. And look him in his eye when the enemy's facing you. I can't shake it loose, this the hate produced.
This the hate you
I'm
made.
here to break the noose and fight the devil, ain't no truce. Raise it another level, shame the devil, say the truth. And look him in his eye when the enemy's facing you.
Take a step in my lane, I'm projecting the pain. Visions and pictures in my veins of us tortured and slain. So many sons and daughters slaughtered, some known on the name. Bringing my eye to the situation is why I came. I shake every pet nation, go exterminate. Marcus Garvey, Mugabe, politic, run them all away. KPI type methodology, how the gods slay. Try life and I don't play. Kill these crackers and all day, enter the scene, got them clean and watch me swerve out it. Big juju in my pocket, I ain't worried about it. That go for grown-ups to babies, salute my Baba Khalid, Muhammad, we solid, I call for balance, is very valid. Yeah, murder these devils, it's divine order. We opposites, I reject the mixing like oil and water. Africa for Africans, representing the word strong. I say shut them borders down and let us get a purge on.
I can't shake it loose, this the hate produced. I'm here to break the noose and fight the devil, ain't no truce. Raise it another level, shame the devil, say the truth. And look him in his eye when the enemy's facing you. I can't shake it loose, this the hate produced. I'm here to break the noose and fight the devil, ain't no truce. Raise it another level, shame the devil, say the truth. And look him in his eye when the enemy's facing you.
This ain't no kumbaya vibe, my yasa is a war tribe. That's my war cry, double H famine, it's wartime. Devils want it all, was peaceful coexistence. Anti-separation, he's violently resistant. Coupe tech, bullet cop, hit the deck when bullets fly. The devil won't change and needs to be euthanized. The stupidness, foolish minds, you will get used your blind. Suicide, trusting this cracker is suicide. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you know the play. That peace talk is juvenile, it really don't hold no weight. Fighting hate with love sounds great in theory, but never ever work in history. Name one place that this cracker went. Name one place that this cracker left alone. I bet that they was war prone. Keep a piece in your wardrobe and know the world's a war zone.
I can't shake it loose, this the hate produced. I'm here to break the noose and fight the devil, ain't no truce. Raise it another level, shame the devil, say the truth. And look him in his eye when the enemy's facing you. I can't shake it loose, this the hate produced. I'm here to break the noose and fight the devil, ain't no truce. Raise it another level, shame the devil, say the truth. And look him in his eye when the enemy's facing you.
And Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, and your brother Ashe SJ will be joining us shortly, along with our weekly correspondents, Sister Marcia and Brother Blacksmith, giving us the 1-2, the 1-2, the 1-2. Already got some internet problems. Already. Already, boy, they must have read the bio. They must have read the description. They ready to start trouble with us already. I see Brother Tad working it out in the back. Here, give me the thumbs up. Give me the thumbs up. You ready to rock and roll, Brother Tad? Brother Tad was good. You muted, bro.
There we go. Peace and blessings, family. I'm glad to be back. It's another powerful Thursday. I can't wait to dive into tonight's discussion. Reparations. Show me the money.
We want the cash payments ASAP. ASAP. They showing everybody else the bread. Where our bread at?
Yeah, man. And
That's
I see
crazy.
the city is putting the freeze on the recruitments of the NYPD. You know, because of the strain that the migrants is causing on the budget of the city. But you know, we get into that later.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Shout out to man.
Here he go. Already starting. We even get 5 minutes in. Tad starting already.
Great job, right? Ain't he?
Whatever you say, Tad. Whatever you say. Sister Farnessa, she said that's one of her favorite cuts. That's one of my favorites too. You know, we like to throw it back. You know what, Brother Tad? They pulled one of your favorite throwbacks off of YouTube.
Which one was that?
Brothers Keeper, Mind Cuffs.
Yes. Don't let them program your mind. Don't let them program your mind. Yeah, yo, that joint is hard. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get that and upload it again. You know, shout out.
I'm try my little sneaky ways of doing things. I might come up with something. For we won't be on next week, but the following week after.
I know you got something in the chamber, sis. my favorite United Front cut though is one of my personal favorites is Mountains on the Moon.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's indeed. You might could throw that in the queue, but you won't see the video. I have the audio for that. You won't see. They don't think they had a video for. I don't think so. Or maybe I might have.
No video.
But I have the audio for sure.
Yes.
Shout out to Sister Donna. Good evening to you as well. Yes, yes, yes. I'm glad you are truly blessed and highly favored. You better be.
That's right.
You better be in this world. Excuse me. Shout out to the BK William Mackey History Club. They had me there last night on the history of Black music. We pulled back some layers, looked at some interesting things. I can't wait for part 2 because we're really going to delve into some of the stories behind some of your favorite hits. So we're going to peel back those layers on part 2. Shout out again to the BK William Mackey History Club for having me last night. Oh, this weekend, this Saturday, 12 to 4 p.m., SEMO Tap's 36th anniversary is going down in Queens, 172-17 Linden Boulevard. 172-17 Linden Boulevard this Saturday, 12 to 4 p.m. I think Dr. Mayat is going to be there, Anthony Browder, and a few others. So we going to pull up. Thorough Black Talk is going to be on the scene. We got to be on the scene. That's what we do. So I will be there. Shout out to everybody who came out to swap.
Yeah, we pull up this.
Oh, you going?
I guess so. Yes, we is.
Uh-oh. Double trouble.
I'm going to be on my best behavior, Sister Keisha. I don't know what you're going to do.
He always says that. He always says that. And it goes left. But we going to see. We're going to see who comes.
Long as certain don't show up, right? Long as certain people don't show up.
Word, Tab, because certain people show up, they get uncomfortable in our presence, and I don't know why. We don't do nothing to nobody.
Except chase them down, approach them and call them out. See, one of the things about this movement we have here, let me step on my soap. Let me jump on the soapbox real quick before we get the show started.
Go in.
It's too much fanfare going on. It's too much DRing, as we say on the block, sis. We can't say that on the show, but it's too much nut hugging going on, and we're the ones who's gonna call people out. Shout out to our brother Ashe, because when he ran down on everybody's favorite charlatan, dude got shook. Dude also had a presentation that was supposed to happen in Brooklyn. Got nervous, thought the brother Q Butter was going to pull up. Shout out to Q Butter. Because the whole thing is this with us. We're not playing with this. Everybody talk that warrior stuff, but ain't nobody trying to put hands on people that's robbing our community. It's easy to talk about getting this mystic, invisible enemy that we have. Yet we don't see you putting hands on nobody. But then we got enemies behind the gates, fleecing the community for their hard-earned money and giving them nothing in return. And we're not supposed to say nothing? Those of us who are on posts are not supposed to say nothing? Shout out to Sucker Polite and the likes. All of these dudes we approached, ran down on them. And some of you in the community, please don't do that here. Don't do that. We're supposed to be brothers. Nah. All skin folk ain't kinfolk, and they got to get dealt with. Imagine if Sucker Polite got dealt with back then. This little girl wouldn't even have got harmed. But we had a wolf in our midst, and when we kept telling everybody we don't rock with these dudes is phony, everybody thought we was hating. But never once, no matter what movement me and Sister Keisha was involved with, anytime we solicited money, we did what we said we was going to do with the money. Whether it was to do a presentation, whether it was to take children on bus rides, any kind of trips, we did that. Shout out to Sister Tam. She's on the check-in. We did real work. And anytime something didn't go right, and I wish Brother Mike was here to attest to this. We had a trip one time. Sister Keisha, I think you was there, and the bus broke down. Right by the deal, we gave everybody their money back. We said, look, this is all we could do. We can either give you your money back now, or we can hold your money back from when we reschedule the trip. Some people said, yo, hold my money till you reschedule. Others said, yo, I need my money back. And we gave everybody their money back. Everybody. And nobody probably had to wait longer than a week. I don't even think people waited a week. Because, of course, we had to come out of our pockets and give folks their money back. But ain't nobody going to say we took any money and didn't do what we said we was going to do. Meanwhile, we waiting on a school that look like it's going to be a senior citizen center by the time it gets open. We had a dude running around here talking about he's doing these housing for the community, turning what's those containers into housings. Come to find out you don't even own those.
Freight containers.
Right. Sucker Polite took everybody money, talking about, yeah, donate. This is my project. Yeah, I'm building sustainable homes with containers. All those big words sounded like Damon Wayans on The Living Color. You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, you took that money and you had nothing to do with the project. The real people's like, yo, but people still let him back in the community. But when we said he ain't welcome around us, everybody like, oh, y'all wrong. So my point is this, man. Rock with the people you know is really doing something in the community. Not all this big fanfare, not just because they sound good. That's what was called armchair revolutionaries. Only thing now is they could just get on their phone, make a video about all that they doing. I'm the most requested speaker in the world. Negro, please. What have you built? Everybody keep talking about what they doing. Anybody could fudge their resume. That's how most people get their jobs. They fudge the resume. But for a dude supposed to be a principal, I don't see nobody going to work. No school. Don't see you building with your children. You want access to my children, but I don't see you doing nothing constructive with yours. Sound a little suspicious, won't you say?
Shots fired.
Ain't no shots yet. Because I tell people, man, yo, it just hurts me, Sister Keisha, because for those of us that are sincere, we look like we bugging out because we calling out the charlatans. Just because everybody from the conscious community got the same syndrome as the Christians do in the church, waiting for Jesus. Y'all waiting for the Black Messiah to come. Everybody waiting for somebody else to do what they can do themselves. Me, Sister Tam, Brother Mike, Sister Waukesha, a few other people. We started party from my man Eric Barbershop. Straight like that. Anybody go on Instagram and see the busloads of kids we took everywhere with no government funding, money from the community, people who believed and supported us. Shout out to the African Village who always supported. You know, somebody once asked me, say, yo, bro, how do you get the funds to do all this? Like, where's your money coming from? I said, the community. I said, because people who know me, they know they could trust me. I'm going to do what I'm going to say. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do with the money. I say we taking kids out the community, we doing it. We taking children on trips. Me, Sister Tam, Sister Keisha, Brother Ashe, Sister Waukesha, Brother Mike never went. My brother Mike Jones never went. He would always be there when it's time to educate the children. He didn't come just to be seen. He ain't do none of that camera stuff. You know,
shout out to Mike Jones.
Word up. Shout out to brother Mike Jones. You know what I'm saying? He showed up when it was important, when the hard work needed to be done. When you got to sit in the community center and educate the children. And I'm going to tell you how we freaked it, because you could replicate this in your community. This is what we did. We got children together, took them to the community center, get one of our African-centered books, let them each read a chapter from the book. This helps they reading skills and they public speaking skills. But not only that, we call this in-house research. So whatever book we read, now we go into the museum to look at the artifacts, or we may go to the actual place. So we've been to Frederick Douglass House. We've been to the African American Civil War Museum. They met Professor Browder. They met Dr. Umar. They met just about everybody. A couple of the children went with us to Africa. Some of them went with us to meet Dr. Ben. Like, we've been, come on, man. Our children is our best investment. So you got all of these people organizing, talking about the children, but you don't see them doing nothing with the children. Stop it. Stop it. All of that is rhetoric. Don't talk about what you want to do or what you're going to do. Show us what you're doing. Show us what you have done. Come on. Sister Keisha, how many times we rented out movie theaters? We done did Black Panther 1 and 2. Shout out to the Black Achievement Fund.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We rented out. So it was just us there, not strangers, us, our group, our organization. Shout out to the brother Pharaoh of Pharaonic Clothing Brand, who always supported us. We got people that support us that don't care about the fanfare. They just want to see results. Everybody else want to hear rhetoric. And the problem ain't the charlatans. The problem is the people in the community who keep supporting the charlatans. You know these people ain't producing nothing. They're just giving you lip service. Shout out to Q Butter and Ziax Institute. Shout out to Marcus Klein. Shout out to Baba Walimu Baruti. Come on, man. These are people who really educating children on a consistent basis.
I mentioned Baba Baruti last night during my presentation. I've read out of the book Kabuka. That's a must read for everybody. If you can get through it without breaking down. It's only 107, 108 pages, I believe.
Sister Keisha, you want to know where I read Kabuka at? In Ghana. At the dungeon.
Yeah, in the dungeon. Yeah.
Come on, but I'm talking about, let's not just talk about it. Let's go to these places. I didn't read Kabuka until I touched Africa. I had the book. But I said, you know what? When I go to Ghana, because Kabuka is about the great Mayafa, the great suffering. That's what Mayafa means. We don't call it the Holocaust. We call it our Mayafa, Maafa. It's the great suffering. The Jews, I'm sorry, I can't. Can I say Jew? I don't know. Can we? YouTube ain't going to get at us, right?
Absolutely not.
I don't know. You got to know the language nowadays, Shims, thems, and thems, Anyway, that group of people seems to have a monopoly on the word Holocaust, as if it's exclusively for them. So we call what has happened to us the great Mayafa, the great suffering. That's from the kidnapping and the colonization on the shores of the continent to what they call the Middle Passage, to us getting to the shores of here on the plantation, to the crack epidemic. All of this is done deliberately and intentionally. And we know, I mean, it's recorded, it's documented that all of this is done intentionally to get rid of us. However, people want to play around with your intelligence, with your emotions, because a lot of people who are now in the movement, this day and age, Sister Keisha, I think you and I have been in the movement longer than a lot of these millennials been alive. So they go by the internet jargon. And then, you know, you got George Soros and the likes who pump money into the quote unquote movement and misdirect the people. And one thing, and I hate to say this, but one of the things our folks lack is critical thinking skills. They don't read enough. The only books they read is Facebooks. That's it. And then the books they do read, they really don't implement it. What made me start Party was Dr. Amos Wilson book, Understanding Adolescent Male Violence. That book sparked it for me because he said, do what you can where you are. And I said, you know what? What's the sense in getting knowledge if you don't implement it? Come on. If what you know don't solve your problems, then you don't know nothing. So everything we do, everything we read, all this information we ingest should be to create a better life for us and those around us, those that we love. But other than that, all you doing is, what's the word, pontificating, having pissing contests. Oh, brother, you read that book? Oh, brother, you got to read this book. Oh, nah, brothers, you up on this book? I've heard that for decades. But I do still running around, swollen belly, swollen feet, swollen backs, talking about warriors. They can't climb a flight of stairs. And I'm talking about young dudes. You ain't in no condition.
Come on. Body. Tell that truth, Tad. Come on with it. You on fire today.
We got to, because everybody playing around with it, Sister Keisha. You know me, I like to have fun like the next person, man. Life is for the living. Come on, man. Let's enjoy this thing we got called life. Because we here for a good time, not a long time. But at the same time, I want a specific quality of life. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm like Reverend Ike. I want my heaven on earth. You know what I'm saying? I ain't waiting for the pie in the sky and the by and by. I want it now. And I'm going to work for it. But I'm going to step off my soapbox. This is too early for all this pro-black and anti-folk stuff. How you doing?
I love it. You got to tell the truth and shade the devil, as Pat said in the chat. But Dr. Filet, you can go to akabinhouse.com. That's akabinhouse.com for the book Kabuka. The link is in the chat. Yeah, so you can get access to that book and all of his other books. So read that and let me and I want to hear from you, Dr. Filet. Of course, she's gonna tell me anyway, but I want to know your feeling as you read through that book, because it's a difficult read, not because of the vocabulary or the context, but because of the feeling that you're gonna have when reading this book. So get into it. You're very, very welcome. I wanted to get into a little bit of Black history today, right? What happened this week in our history? Of course, you have the birthday of the great Dorothy Dandridge. You have Howard University's medical school in 1868. November 10th, Granville T. Woods and his patents. He was born in Columbus, Ohio. You have Jim Crow. It's a lot in the month of November. But now, I'm going to drop this link in the chat so you guys can read through it.
Jim Crow law started? When you say Jim Crow, what do you mean? The law started?
Oh, no. Oh, no. The attitudes became more enticed. So say, for example, like they have here in 1898, George White introduces the first anti-lynching legislation in the U.S. Congress. The North Carolinian was one of the last Blacks in Congress before Jim Crow laws, and the attitudes drove most Blacks from high elected office. After leaving Congress, he founded a black bank and established an all-black community in Whiteville near present-day Trenton, New Jersey.
And what year was this?
1898. I want y'all to hold this thought, what I just read, because what we're going to discuss tonight has a lot to do with blacks, as we were told to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, form their own, founded their own, garnered their own, to have it all taken from them by the court systems here in the U.S. of America. So we'll get into that later, but I just wanted to rush through these real quick. November 11, 1831, Nat Turner is hanged 2 months after his capture for leading the bloodiest slave revolt in U.S. history. The minister and mystic told reporters, God had called on him to lead the revolt, which led, to the death of 55 whites. November 12th, General George Washington, the first president of this country, issues an order barring blacks from entering and serving in the U.S. Army. This had to do with him being a slave owner, and the aristocracy felt that free blacks fought for America's liberation. They would demand freedom for their enslaved brothers and sisters. Of course, that was the result of the Civil War, right? If you want us to fight for you, nah, we getting off these plantations. That's how it's going to go, or else. Good luck with that. So they didn't want blacks in the war at that particular time. However, the British took us and swindled us out of freedom on that end too. We'll talk about that at another time. Sigma Gamma Rho, the sorority, one of the largest in the nation in 1922. Let's see, November 13th, very, very important, 1839, the Liberty Party, the nation's first anti-slavery political party, is formed in where? Warsaw, New York. Among the founders were legendary abolitionists Samuel Rhingold Ward and Henry Highland Garnett. At this point in history, the two major political parties, the Whigs and the Democrats, were both pro-slavery.
Who?
Just like now. Both parties are pro not giving you your reparations.
The Whigs and who?
The Democrats, Ted.
Who? Nah.
The Democrats.
See, now you're talking that black talk. That's that crazy talk. The Democrats have always looked out for black people. They love us. Just remember, everybody, vote down the line.
Blackberry tea on this one.
Vote down the line. I was with Sister Keisha up to now. Don't go talking about my Democrats.
Here he go. Yeah. But staying in that vein, Brother Ted, for all you black Democrats out there, you wonder why we're in so much trouble right now. They were always pro-slavery. When we discussed on this platform a couple of months ago, we talked about the kidnapping clubs, the New York Kidnapping Club, and its allegiance to the Democratic Party to kidnap and enslave free blacks. You don't think your ancestors are pissed off with you? How dare you align yourselves with these beasts? But I'm going to get off my soapbox. Let me continue. 1922. Black historians have selected this date, which makes the beginning of the Harlem Renaissance, perhaps the greatest period of artistic achievement by African Americans in U.S. history. From poetry to plays and from painting to sculptures, Black art reached the pinnacle. In a broader sense, the Harlem Renaissance ran from the early 1920s to the mid-1930s. So, some quick black facts for you all. Booker T. Washington was easily one of the top 5 most influential black leaders in American history. Some consider him too accommodating to whites, but his influence was still significant. Among the educator's last accomplishments was the founding of Tuskegee Institute. Tuskegee Institute. He was only 59 when he passed away. So, you gotta remember these facts, right? Because while we're arguing the point of reparations, and I'm going to show you how you pull up on these politicians. I'm going to show a clip a little bit later how I pulled up on Hakeem Jeffries. You have to, because they will divert from the conversation. When it comes to reparation, they will try to divert, but you got to bring them back into the fold. And you don't got to be hostile and crazy. I'm going to show y'all how to do it a little bit later on, because you're going to have a lot of these local politicians have these town hall community meetings, right? Because we're coming up on a major election, the presidential one. So both parties are fighting hard for their respective candidates. So they're going to have a lot of town halls beginning in January, all the way up through October. All right. So we're going to show you how you pull up on them and ask the proper questions, and don't let them divert, using language, how to sway them back into the fold of what you want. And that's cash payments right here and right now. November 16, 1780, Paul Cuffey organizes a demonstration by free blacks protesting the fact that they were being taxed but were not allowed to vote. Taxation without representation still holds true today. Cuffey was a prominent whaling captain and businessman who organized the first integrated school in Massachusetts. In his latter years, he became frustrated with American racism and advocated the establishment of free black colony in the West African nation of Sierra Leone, which was then controlled by the British. So just a couple of black facts, you know, you got to keep it in the back of your mind. 1797, abolitionist and orator Sojourner Truth was born. Isabella Brumfree in Ulster County, Weir, New York. She struggled for an end to slavery and for a woman's right to vote. She became so well known that she even consulted with President Abraham Lincoln. You know, everybody talks about her being an orator, but nobody talks about how she represented herself in getting her son freed in Kingston, New York. You know, there's a marker on the highway for Sojourner Truth. And if you're not looking, you will miss it. It's very small, but it's on the highway heading up to Kingston, New York. And she represented herself pro se. And that's not often talked about. The University of New Paltz, SUNY, in upstate New York, has the Sojourner Truth Library. If you ever get a chance to get up there, visit the Sojourner Truth Library. It's very, very profound. And I've also found out that they are in partnership with the state of New York, and there's a lot of data stored there as well, we found out. So just some quick Black history facts for you all to check out, you know, in your spare time, whenever you feel like it. But I see Sister Marcia is here. You ready, Marcia? You ready? Let me bring her in. Sister Marcia, good to be here. What's good?
How's everyone doing on this Blacktastic Thursday yet again with the family? How's everyone?
Peace, sis.
Good. Thank you
Blessed
again for your contribution on Saturday. I was
No
able
problem.
to get 4 coats, so that was good because I shop very well. I'm
That's good.
the sale queen.
That's awesome.
4 coats, no shipping costs. I mean, come on. We playing.
That's awesome. That's
Thank
not
you to
community
Brother
work.
Tad, too. Brother Tad came through and pulled up, dropped off
Nice.
the coat. Definitely appreciate it. And the families who reside at the Wynn Family Shelter here in East New York will definitely appreciate that. Brother Blacksmith, you ready? He ready. Brother Black, what's good with you?
That coat back. I think I left money in that coat too. Peace, Brother Black.
Peace, y'all. Peace, everybody. How y'all doing?
All right.
All right, let's go.
Y'all was just telling Sister Keisha I might need my coat back. I think I left some money in there.
It went to good use.
Not if I couldn't spend it.
Well, that's your problem. You shouldn't have left anything behind.
Oh, they starting already. They cutting up.
Yeah. See, they jumping on me, right, Brother Black?
No one jumped on you.
Stick together. We black men, we got to stick together. This month is Black Mental Health Month.
No, they weren't. Sister Electra, they weren't. And in fact, There is a book about the first black man who ran for president, and his name was George Edwin Taylor, and he talks about that extensively. And that's why he, and I forget the brother that was originally supposed to run for the presidency. His name escapes me right now, but George
just
Edwin,
right.
George Edwin Taylor stood in his place because the brother was arrested for murdering a Klansman in Mississippi, and he ended up getting off scot-free by a jury of 12 whites.
Wow.
Murdering this white man. So that's the reason why George Edwin Taylor stepped in.
Who was his lawyer?
Huh?
Who was his lawyer?
I don't remember.
Got him off.
It's a black man. Actually, dang, his name escapes me. He was the first black man to try a case in the U.S. Supreme Court. Who that represented him. He too represented another man who was murdered. But dang, his name escapes me. It'll come to me, hopefully.
No, I asked, right? Because a lot of times when we talk about things like this, in my times, you would automatically think Johnny Cochran or something like that. But we have been doing great things for so long that people will say, oh, we need our banks, we need black businesses, we had all of that. We can't forget who destroyed that. Because if we remember who destroyed all that we're trying to achieve now, we recognize who's the enemy to our progress. It's not like we never had any of these things, like we never had schools and institutions. Mm-hmm. We had these things. In fact, segregation served us better because the money stayed within our community.
Facts.
Had we left it that way, we'd have been got our reparations and we'd have known what to do with them. Because when dudes got PPP money back when was that 2021, 2020? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought fireworks was illegal. They took all that money and bought fireworks and weed. That's all they did. It's about weed and fireworks. Because I thought they was illegal in New York. But next thing you know, for 2 months straight, the whole summer, all we heard was skyrockets in the 80s. Like, I like fireworks like the next person, but this is enough. So all they did was that money, buy fireworks. And I thought it was just in New York, but I found out it was everywhere. Philly, Virginia, the Carolinas, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave them the money to buy fireworks and then lock you up for spending the money they know you knew you didn't deserve. Because all these people with their makeshift businesses, all of a sudden everybody was a DJ, a barber, and a hairdresser. Somebody told me I should get some of that PPP money. I said, not me. I'm not messing up my good name.
For real, people got putting the feds behind that PPP money.
I said, you know what, Sister Keisha, I said it's too good to be true. Some people like, this is my reparations. Yeah, all right. They got a spot for you too for them reparations. Because they believe in reparations too. And see, that's the funny thing when we talk about reparations, because we know that plantation owners, because none of them was our masters, plantation owners got reparations. Once the institution was abolished, they called it that peculiar institution, because they looked at our ancestors as property. So since they lost their property, they were compensated. But we weren't never compensated for our labor. Come on, man. We got to really get it together. What's your thoughts, brother?
I want my money. That's all I'm saying. And now the world, I hope the world can see, especially Black Americans can see that they had the bread all along. All along.
They got a
you fell for the okie doke. You fell for the okie doke. And now, because of your vote, you've allowed them to give what's rightfully yours to someone else. And this has been a pattern in this country. And some of the stories we're going to talk about tonight are going to prove that pattern, right? That's why I often tell people, you better know your family genealogy. Most people don't. You don't. And you don't want to know. And for whatever reason, that's good. You don't want to know. But some of us know better. Some of us know better.
Sis, how many years we've been advocating for people to look up their own families?
Come on.
How many years we've been
that's all right, Tad. Those of us who've already done the work, We're going to be in high demand. So get y'all bread ready because I'm not doing nothing for free. Nothing. Genealogy costs.
That's a fact. You
For
pay
mine,
23 and
you
me.
will pay for yours. You can get 23andMe, you can get Ancestry, you can get African ancestry. They're going to give you your DNA connection. They will not give you your genealogy, right? You're going to come to us who really do the research and know where to go to get it, how to search your because I'm telling you, when it comes down, and it's going to come down, you ain't getting no bread, nothing without your genealogy, nothing. So you better know it. You better know it. But I like Madam President. I like Madam President.
Yeah,
I
I like.
follow. Shout out to her. Now, we're going to listen to her real quick, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about a story that we all looked into and continue this fight for reparations. Let's go.
So the White House announces they will provide $100 million in humanitarian assistance for the Palestinian people. So you're going to go visit Israel. You're going to provide the bombs and provide the relief. You're going to provide the bombs and provide the money. Like, you're going to straddle the fence. You're going to play both sides. Come on home and get Black folks reparations. That's number one. It's American is showing you that they have every access to monetary power to give Black folks reparations. And America is also showing you that it does not care about you and your economic needs. They have found money in every case, everywhere, to handle the needs that they consider to be important. However, the American people, the U.S. Treasurer said that it's going to be painful for some American households. So you mean to tell me that the American people get the pain and everybody else get the assistance? I do not value this false democracy. And I think more people need to get involved, and more Black people need to understand that they need to leverage their political power, their voting power, and let the Democratic Party know, I am not going to your polls. You cannot have my vote. Give me my money instead.
That's it. Give me my bread instead. That's it. Plain and simple. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't care about what nobody going through. Nobody. Because nobody cared about mines. Nobody cared about mines. And you still don't. For all of my brothers and sisters wrongfully incarcerated, over incarcerated. I went to high school in Marine Park, was harassed by the NYPD for 4 goddamn years. I hate the NYPD, and I have right cause. None of them Black officers helped my ass either. Don't play with me. I got a real gripe with the NYPD. I want my bread. You put me through trauma. You try being put in handcuffs, tight ass handcuffs every day. Every goddamn day for 4 years. So I want my bread, period. Your thoughts, Sister Marcia or Madam President?
You deserve your bread, and everybody deserves their bread. Anyone who was colonized by the colonizer deserves their bread. You know your genealogy wherever you came from because they all have to cut that check. We deserve it. We've worked, we've toiled, we've lost land due to them, and they're still reaping off of our lands. Even if we sit there and say, I know this land belongs to me, they still shuck and jive and make you pay dollar after dollar and years after years when you could have been expanding your family, building generational wealth, but you're fighting the system. So you can't build nothing. That's what they do to us. And like Madam President says, stop being a fool to the system and start holding them accountable. Learn how to hold people accountable to what they say they're going to do, because that's what's missing in our community. We have no accountability structure. I don't know how we formulate it, but we need to formulate it point blank and period. Madam President, we salute you.
I know how to formulate it. Got to be consequences. People got to get dealt with. That's all it is. You can't come in our community, say, vote for me, take our money, then you just peel off and say, I got mine. Fend for yourself, Negroes. Do like me, pull yourself up. We got to stop letting people come in and do that. And not just the politicians, but people who come into our organizations, people on the grassroots level. We got to start demonstrating that we mean business and putting hands and feet on people. I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying, make them dance partners. If you understand what I'm saying. Just,
I understand.
do-si-do
I
them a little.
understand.
Do-si-do your part.
Listen, you want to party? Or what Queen Bee said, you want to rumble with the bee? Huh.
Exactly.
That's
So
it.
start rumbling. If
There's no,
that's the case, say that again, brother.
no, I was saying because just there's no consequences. Because
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without accountability, there is no consequences. We don't set down the parameters of what a consequence would look like. We don't do anything. We just
We don't
go into that booth and then come out. And those who understand what you can do, the small things that you can do, we are great. But we need more people to start moving like we move so that they can hear us because they're not hearing us. 100 people are doing something right. Excellent. We need 1,000 people to do something right. Stop listening to whatever you're listening and thinking and all of those things and start doing right. Not for you. Don't even do right for you because you're not going to matter in 20, 40 years. Do right for your grandchildren because they're the ones that's going to matter. They're the ones that's going to reap the benefits of what we do or don't do. So we better start doing.
Share. And I'm still going to listen to Pound Town, though. Don't tell me what to listen to.
Here he go. He's a bad hombre. He really is a bad hombre. He is a bad
What?
hombre. Now,
I ain't even going to ask.
I wanted to show this clip. I was on the street corner, East New York, and I happened to run into Hakeem Jeffries. He was holding a town hall on the street corner. But when you enter these arenas, they like to give you tickets, free questions, and all this old kind of mess, right? So I knew they wouldn't want us recording, so I had to hide the phone. So I'm gonna try to play this, and I hope you all can hear it. If you cannot hear it, put a 1 in the chat, and I'll stop it. All right. All right. Here we go.
Hey, good to see you. Oh, pleasant. I'm of course, yeah. Thanks for coming out. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
One of the things that concerns us in our block and in our meetings is really the democratic understanding on reparations.
Yeah.
I understand that there are allotments allowed for other groups. However, it seems to me that the current candidates are stating that question.
Yeah.
And we need to have a definite answer as far as reparations. That's the first question. The second question.
Well, on that one,
yes.
So John Conyers for years has introduced former congressman.
Right. We know about this study.
HR 40.
Right.
So, but Sheila Jackson Lee has picked it up.
Right.
And I was just talking about it a couple of days ago in fact. And she wanted, as I work on I convene a meeting every week with Democrats in the House to focus on issues, try to elevate the situation. So I was talking to her about reparation in HR 40, but the broader issue to increase the testing rate. And I said to her that we're going to do something big in terms of a House Democratic Caucus discussion in June, because I want to time it to the 400 commemoration of when the first slave ship left Ghana, right, which was in June of 1619.
We're standing on African burial ground.
And the CBC is going to do something big in Richmond, commemorate what's happening in West Africa. in June, and then we're also going to do something in August. Because August was when it arrived, June is when it left. And arrived at Jamestown in 1619, 400th anniversary. So on this issue, you're starting to hear presidential candidates, but they're all over the map in different ways. But we're going to use the 400th anniversary to elevate the discussion around it in a real way. The legislation and just the topic, because we've endured a lot, and it still are, and the legacy remains, and there hasn't been adequate recompense for the sins of this country on the question of child slavery. And the 400th anniversary will give us an opportunity to really re-elevate the issue in a meaningful way, and so you'll start to see that starting next month.
Okay, got it. Because I know that.
Now, I asked him about reparations package. He responds to me with commemorations. I didn't ask him about commemorations. Watch how I flip it back to my side.
You guys sit on committees that can allow such things to happen.
Yeah.
Because as far as we are concerned, we are not interested in any more studies.
Yeah.
We want tangibles right here, right now. So,
yeah. And the thing with the study is just, I've talked a lot with Sheila about it, is that the complicating dynamic, because it's so late, right? We're talking about 1865, the end of slavery. The legacy is real, but operationalizing it, right? Because we've never really done an adequate way of how you actually, the consequences, the immediate families impacted, generationally you can trace it. Who? Right, because it's the government, but then there's the landowners and the families that benefited. So you want the banks, universities. So you need to actually capture all of that. Because if you look at the example in Germany, it was the German government, but it was also private industry. So part of the study is to really contextualize it all. And so, sometimes studies can be used just for the purpose of.
I get it, but it's just been too long.
But I understand what you're saying.
Not willing to go back.
Yeah.
So, and the other question that I have, or concern that I have, is the influx of an LGBTQ curriculum into the public school system when there isn't an African-centered mandate for public schools.
So then I started talking to him about the LGBTQ curriculum that has been forced into the schools. But again, he tried to divert. And this is what you have to do. You have to be smart about it. And you have to articulate your point of view without being distracted, because that's his job, to get you off the topic. You just have to be smart enough to swing it back, because we are going through too many issues in this country where everybody else is getting what they need and Black people still are told to wait. It's despicable, and it's disgrace. It's a disgrace. And I don't understand how today in 2023 people still have hope in this duopoly. That means you still love the white man. You love it. You love him. You believe in him. You believe in him. That's why you still are part of this duopoly, knowing that you're doing your own self in and your own people in. It's the same with Joe Biden. How can you forget about the crime bills? How can you listen? I had a lot of family members behind that wall, a lot of friends behind that wall. But his dope fiend son ain't behind no wall. His daughter wrote in her memoir, I didn't say it, she said it. She's uncomfortable around him, especially when she was a child. Getting naked in front of her and all kind of stuff. So don't say I said it. But people are waking up. People are saying enough is enough.
Into this.
I'm going to challenge all Black people for this 2024 election if I'm going to your polling place and just voting Democrat, Democrat, Democrat without even knowing what's going on, just because you've been told to always vote for the Democratic Party. What has the Democratic Party done for us as Black people in the past, I don't know, 50 years? Even the first Black president, he didn't do for the advancement of Black people in this country whatsoever. Barack Obama did more for the LGBTQ community, more for the gay community signing laws protecting them and their advancement and their rights than he did for Black people the entire 8 years he was in office. So why are we still sitting up here voting Democrat when they don't do for us? When we have old white men telling us you ain't Black if you don't vote for me, but then he goes into office and does absolutely nothing for Black Americans, but we sit up here and we vote Democrat every single time because we've been told to. Hasn't helped you, hasn't helped your mama, and it's not going to help your kids.
America would be a third world country without the
Fact. Just fact. Just fact. Let's just state the facts. It is what it is, family. But I love it. Everybody's waking up. Brother Black, your thoughts on
Man.
this?
Well, I'm going to take it cosmic because I already know we're going to get ours. It's just a matter of time. We're not going to get it with guns and bullets and bombs and all that. We're not going to get it by appealing to governments and all that. We're going to get it when it's our time to come, which is soon. And y'all know I've been saying that since I've been on this show, even before that. So that's how I look at that. I'm not worried about none of this.
Well, and then you had some people who saying that they don't want cash payments, that they would prefer land or whatever.
It needs to be holistic because wasn't the peculiar institution holistic on the negative part for us and holistically good for them? Of course it was. Brother Philip Scott, right before you turned off at the last video, was fit to say that about how, I saw a video of his recently. I don't know if it's not the same video because he was in the studio, but in the video, and he says this constantly, so we already know how you get down. They ain't gonna help us, and that's more than obvious from day one. All the immigrants over the last 100, 125 years have come here, lived around us, stepped on us, and then moved on and became whatever they became. They ain't Black. And it started with
I got you, Black. I got you, Black. But we have to stay steadfast, family, in our fight. For real, for real. And I like the last video I played. She mimicked some words that I said 4 years ago at a reparations town hall meeting here in Brooklyn. But for those of you who wish to remain wedded to the duopoly, and I'm glad Sister Pat is on the check-in and she can confirm what I'm saying. Take it from a group who formed their own political party and were able to see things behind the iron curtain that you will never know. Until you do that, you will never know. And I'm telling you, we playing with ourselves with this duopoly. We have been playing with ourselves for far too long. But moving on, there is a story. Sister Marcia sent it to me, bothering me again. I'll be minding my Black business, y'all. And Hud, Randy Short, Brother Tan Black, they be sending me stuff to get me riled up for no reason. So I'm gonna put that out there. But Sister Marcia sent me this story about Silver Dollar Road. Now, I remember reading about it in the New Yorker a few years ago, I think back in 2019. But anyway, a documentary has been done by director and documentarian Raoul Peck. And I love his work. I like what he did, Exterminate All the Brutes. So when I found out he was behind this, I said I had to watch it. Silver Dollar Road is about a family in North Carolina, the Reels family, who did what we were told, pulled themselves up by their own bootstraps, purchased acres of land on the outskirts of North Carolina, what others would deem barren or swamp land. But they purchased it and raised their family there. They built waterfront property. They were into the shrimping and boating business, which kept them afloat. But because they are Black, because they refuse to deal with the shenanigans of the South, a lot has taken place with this family. They have been in a big battle against, I think it's called, is it Adam Silver Corp Associates, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what it is. They are in the appeal process.
Wait,
now.
hold on, Sister Keisha. Let me ask you a question real quick. Is this
Hmm.
the Adam Silver who's supposed to be the president of the NBA?
No,
Okay, all right.
no, it's an association. I think I'll find, it's Adam something. I'll find the real name in a minute. I had the case up earlier. I started reading it.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay, so let's look at this trailer and we'll come back and we'll discuss it. The movie is on, the documentary rather, is on Prime Video. So if you have Prime, you can watch it. But let's check out this trailer and we'll come back.
It was town, is what we always called it. Grandma's taking us to town. It was a beautiful memory until I became an adult and realized some of the things that happened that made me think this is not such a pretty place anymore.
Growing up here on Silver Dollar Road was so magical. It was the one place you could go, you wasn't worried about being targeted by the law.
That property was so valuable, and not from a monetary standpoint, but valuable because of the history.
The first owner of the property, he was born in slavery times.
My great-grandfather died without a living will.
Before he died, he said, whatever you do, don't let the white man have my land.
Okay, yeah. This is our beach. This is our land. This is our water, our club, everything. This is our land. Okay, this is our yeah. This is our club, our space, anything.
There's word of part of the property being sold to someone else that the family had no knowledge of.
We was getting threats. It came down and put eviction notice on a lot Curtis and Melvin houses.
My Uncle Melvin told me, I need your help. If they're saying we have to sign our rights away or go to jail, I'm going to jail. It was heartbreaking to see them change.
I went in at 52, come out at 61. They took the best years of my life.
We fighting power, we fighting money.
What are you doing?
They really wanted this land.
Can't you see that you're breaking?
If you clear out Silver Dollar Road, what you gonna do with us? What you gonna do with poor people, period?
Will it heal my wounded heart?
The family gets shot from the rooftops. The truth. Nobody listened to them.
Will it heal me before?
This is ours. Our ancestors left this here for us.
Will it heal my wounded?
All of this is what you're fighting for.
If you can get a chance to watch Silver Dollar Road, please do so. Sister Marcia, because you know you the one that brought this into the fold. So let's get in here and let's discuss it. Sister Marcia, we open up with you.
Peace. So first, it's Adams Creek Association who are doing the land grab. One of the things that I find interesting is that there was somewhere that I read that they said, so first let me tell you what they said. They said that if you have people, family members, buried on your land, that land is tax exempt, which is one of the reasons why Trump buried Ivanka, or what's the ex-wife's name, on the golf course in order to be tax exempt. And so these people have their loved ones on this land. I don't know if it's a federal law or if it's a state by state thing, but that would be interesting to caveat in this conversation, because apparently the first time they lost the land was because the great-grandfather owed back taxes, and he was one of the first people that they introduce you who was buried on the land, who purchased the land, and all of these things. So that's one question that I have out there in this case. Another question or statement that I made earlier is that this family has poured in and depleted themselves financially, not only for these two beautiful brothers cases to get them to get them out of jail for 8 to 9 years because they don't want to give up their land, the land that they were born on, and yet the government is negating the fact that they were born on there. You're trespassing. How can I trespass on a land that my family has owned before my birth? That just doesn't make sense. And for the system to just give this association, Adam Creek's Association, all the power and remove it from the people, again, like Sister Keisha always says, mind how you vote, because the people that you voting for aren't checking for you. They're checking for that Adams Creek. They're checking for people with big dollars and big this and big that, while you are just trying to have a peace of mind. And there is no reason why this family should be going through this atrocity over and over again. And because, I don't know if it's because we are the people that we are, we're not even funding them. They're still looking for $500,000 that we're not even doing as a community to say, yo, everybody just put $10 into that GoFundMe so that they can get somewhere with these legal actions, because it's unfair. And they have all their lines of genealogy in their pocket, and they're still not getting their fair reparations. Like you were saying, they could fish before. Fishing and shrimping and crabbing was what they did to sustain themselves as a family. Now they cut their access to the water. They have to go in deeper waters in order to fish, and their boats aren't big enough. So yet they're still cutting us at our kneecaps. Anytime we try to move ahead, they find ways to cut us off. And if we don't come together and rally against causes, we can't fight just one cause. We have to be in many pockets, but we have to be targeted with the pockets that we're going into, because they would matter to us in the long run. That could be a vacation place for us.
But just not to cut your wisdom, we have to point out the fact that this family has been robbed by the legal system of almost $100,000.
Yep.
Lawyers have pocketed almost $100,000 for this family in fighting for their land, and also to get their two relatives that you see here in this photograph released from prison. These two men spent 8 years in jail for allegedly trespassing on a land that they own.
On a land they were born on.
You have
Their
to
parents
remember,
raised them on that land.
we have to remember that it's the legal system, because even the next to last attorney, the Indian woman who was speaking in this documentary, she says there's so many twists and turns, because even Adam Creek Associates legally don't own the deed. There are so many people who allege to own the deed in this town that and they were selling it. And that happens here in New York City.
That happens everywhere.
Yes,
that happens in Haiti. That happens in Africa. That is happening everywhere. People who have access to certain things, or who have people in their back pockets, can say, hey, this is what we're doing. And one of their great uncles is one of the people that first sold a portion of their land, right? So this is just a continual saga that it's unfair, and we just need to support our people in the best manner that we can, and show them
Sister Cat, I don't know. I don't believe there is a fund. I haven't seen one, but if I do, I will definitely post it, because this is not just happening to them, right? There was families in Colorado. There were families in Beaufort, South Carolina. There are families here in New York and in Haiti and in Jamaica who are fighting for their land. These people we had a video here a couple of weeks ago where we showed some Jewish man trying to take some Palestinian woman's house. So just walking in and taking people's property. The legal system, and I know a lot of you have been told to work within it, to work within it. But let me make something clear to you. A commission was formed in 1991 here in New York. And that commission found that the courts are, this is what it says. The panel says courts are infested with racism. So if you can't win the political route,
you talking about the Snap Commission?
And you can't win the legal, no, and you can't win the legal route. What other route is there? And that's the conversation. That's the conversation that we have to have, and it can't be done on these airwaves. And a lot of people ain't ready for that conversation.
Like Brother Tad says, put them hands up. Start dancing that dance and dance it right. Dance it for your people. We just keep shucking and jiving for nobody, thinking we're going to get a nickel, and we're not. And we need to remember the miseducation. Go into those institutions, learn about those things, and come back and give understanding to people, because without that, we're going to continue to do the wrong things to our own people, and we're losing out. We're supposed to go retrieve information, bring it back to our community, and invest it.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Like she says, now, if they do maintain that, because of what Adam Creek was able to purchase around them, how are they going to afford the taxes? What's going to happen? See what I'm saying? But y'all keep voting. Keep voting for these folks. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, Sister Keisha, because that's the game. That's how, and a lot of people don't peep it. That's how grandma and pop be losing their house, because they've been paid off their house 30, 40, 50 years ago. And you're like, well, let the house pay for how they lose it, because the property value around the area increases the property value of the home. So now the home is being taxed. Though it's paid for, Pop probably paid $50,000 for that house back in 1963, but now the house is worth $2.5 million, and he got to pay taxes on that 2.5 every year. But he's on a fixed income because Pop retired now. You know what I'm saying? And this is how they get you out, because now you owe taxes. You don't owe the money. You done paid the mortgage. You free and clear that debt. But now here's your water bill, here's your electric bill, here's your taxes, and all other kind of bills that they find that they want to tax on you, depending on where you live. Because if you live in places like Jersey with little townships and villages, that's an extra tax on top of the state tax, county tax, and municipal taxes. So what I want everybody to really peep is that this is a land grab. It's all about world domination. See, when we talk about world domination, we look at Israel and Palestine, the conflict over there, but it's small as gentrification, where we think it's cute that folks is moving into our neighborhoods, pushing us out. But that's the microcosm of it. Because then you get on the macrocosm and we talk about colonization, where they start enforcing their law. Because law is nothing but an opinion backed by violence. That's all the law is. They can change it anytime they want to. Only laws I respect are the laws of nature, universal laws, and the karmic laws of the universe. That's it. Everything else is fictitious. It's fake. Jim Crow laws is fake. Segregation fake. Integration is fake. Tax laws are fake. Shoot, the money is fake. We living in their matrix. So when we talk about we're plugged into a matrix, we're living in somebody else's reality. And until we start exerting force, which is how the universe is created, what they say, the Big Bang, changed the shape of everything. Got rid of the dinosaurs, made way for us. If you want to go that route, you know, I'm with Brother Blacksmith. We're going to sit here and get cosmic with him. We might just, you know what I mean, sit in the lotus position, meditate, chant our ohms, and create a whole new vibration. I mean, I'm joking, but I'm serious, because we do have to have a paradigm shift. Because as long as we playing by their rules, they can always change the rules any given time. But once you take your ball and go home, let them know, nah, you're not bullying me on this playground no more. And I'm willing to die for this right here. Because
and
that's...
one of the...
Go ahead,
I'm
sis.
sorry for the talk. I'm sorry. But one of the things I wanted to point out is when they all told us to leave our parents' home and we need our own homes and we need those things to be independent, that's another thing that hurts the cycle of freedom for us, because everyone is out here paying a mortgage or paying someone else's mortgage and doing all of those things, and is depleting the fact that you can help grandma. It's
Right.
depleting the fact that you can maintain a property in your community. It's depleting the fact that you can have the community that you lived in, that you were born in, and become a community that you would want to raise great grandchildren in. But if everyone is leaving their communities to go somewhere else and have their own, and oh, I can't deal with it here, and it's better if I escape, the plight of escapism that we do this fight or flight, and most people are flying and leaving grandma to deal with that 2 point x amount more tax on her, or a water bill that the water changes and then the water metrics changes often, and they can put a lien on your house off of unpaid water bill, and the unpaid water bill could be $1,000, my friends.
Right.
$1,000. It
Something we
could be
spend in the
owed.
weekend.
Excuse me?
Something we spend in the weekend sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What I wanted to add to that, sis, is the problem with it is the family value system that we no longer
Absolutely.
have. I mean, even for those of us who are on the program and our listeners, some of us are conscious, some of us are aware. But to our family members, we sound crazy. Why? Because we don't sound like what's being spewed on television and the radio. So we're
Absolutely.
independent thinkers, and everybody else is just sheep. So we look like the mad shepherd or something like that. But once we get our family values back in alignment and people see the value on what we're doing, because most people don't see past tomorrow. Most people don't even know what they're going to wear or eat tomorrow. Me, I like to think way ahead. If something happened today, I'm thinking, how does this affect me next week, next month, next year, down the long run? We got to start thinking like that. But we've been programmed to be so individualistic. Everything we do is so self-centered. We don't think about nobody, not even the people we say we love the most. And that's why it's so hard for us to pull our resources together. We see the Asians do it. We see the Latinos do it. We see the Indians do it. But for some reason, all of us want to run out the house and pay these high exorbitant rents separately. If it's four siblings, and each of them move out of mama house, mama still got to pay her rent, and now each person got an apartment, $2,000, $3,000. Could you imagine what you do if you pool those resources together?
Can you imagine the type of family you could be looking at if you
Right.
pulled your
Here's
resources
the thing,
together?
sister. This is my point. Our family values tell us not to live with each other no more. And
Well,
even
it's
in the
about family values.
hold on, listen, sis. Because even in the dating market where we're courting and try to expand our family by finding a suitable, significant other, we're leaving the home, right? But we don't come out with the family values, because when we date now, who you live with? Oh, you still live with your mother? Oh, I'm not. But you don't even know what the living circumstances is. You don't even know if we're living together to keep our money within the family to buy a bigger home. And if you get down with us and you can see the vision that I'm doing this for your child that we could potentially have, then you're on the right wavelength with me. And the family value, it increases. Denzel Washington said something years ago on an interview I heard him talk about. And they asked him, talking about his mother and his grandmother, his aunties, and they asked, who raised your children? And he said, I don't have a nanny. He said, my children stay with my mother or my mother-in-law or my aunts and my family, because I don't want nobody that don't have my family values trying to raise my children. And I thought that was so profound, because when we look at it today, everybody's trying to emulate the enemy. They're trying to emulate the ops. Now black folks want nannies. You really want a nanny? I thought grandma and mama and all of them, that's what they there for.
But
So when
that's
you
why they
get money to bring back to the family, your child is still well taken care of and protected. But I'm going to step off my soapbox. I just want folks to really start reevaluating your family value system, because that's going to be one of the key components to move us forward. Just like this.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I wanted to add is that we go into these systems and education and your parents are working. There is no one, most families, like I say all the time, I always had someone to go home to. I never went home to an empty house when I was a child. And I used to envy other people for having no one at home. Like, oh man, that's so fun. But my grandmother's expecting me, so I got to get home. I can't do this and I can't do that. And now in retrospect, I appreciate the fact that I had someone in my house. And some of my girlfriends, we speak today and they're like, you don't know how much. And I'd be like, wow, it always looks different depending on how you're having that conversation. And the whole idea is that you have to create that system and you have to create that check-in. And I think most of us don't have that weekly, monthly check-in with our families so that we know how to establish grounds, because grounds have been broken for 40 or more years and we have to reestablish them. And even in, my home particularly, we work at it. Not work.
Wow.
We're not going to be successful. And sometimes it's hard to work at it because everyone has their own opinion and everyone has been indoctrinated in this system a particular kind of way. But if brothers and sisters, if we're not applying the work, we are just talking dummies on a stick. We must apply the work. We must do the work. And it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of sacrifices. But we could have that cosmic flash that Brother Black always telling us about. But if we're not working, that cosmic flash is going to go like that. Thanos is going to snap his finger and we're still going to be looking like, huh? We dust? What happened? We need to get up. Because Brother Black is right. It could happen in an instant. It could happen in that flash. But if we're not working as a family, as a unit, as anyone that you want to bring into your family and work together, then we're dummies on a stick. And I know anyone that's listening to us right now is not dummies on a stick. We're about this life.
Okay, well, let me say it like this real quick. Robert Davis Steele, a dude who supposedly passed away, they say he didn't. He disappeared and went into the ethers because he was telling white truths. Said that it was a elaborate, purposeful plan for the United States bankers to take old people, especially single elder women whose husbands have died and left them the house, and all their kids were college educated, so they making $200,000 a year more. They got their own houses, their own situations going on. That house winds up, if she gets Alzheimer's or she starts forgetting stuff, that house is eventually going to be food for those bankers that I just brought up. So this is a dynamic, like I said, that's just going to continue because the conditions have made most people in this country, and I don't think any of us here are that, but I'm speaking for myself before I speak for anybody else, are narcissistic. And in a narcissistic system, everybody's for themselves. They not talking none of this, what we talking about, and Tad said that without saying it the way I'm saying it. Most people are narcissistic. The hell you talking about? Go for Delph, go for self, go dolo. And that's the way to live. So we're going to sound crazy to them people. And if they think I'm crazy, then at least I got 3 other people on this panel right now agreeing with exactly what I just said. I'm done.
I agree with you. I still think you're crazy, brother. I love you.
Me too.
I'll take it. I see you in the spirit land.
Crazy in a good
Where
way.
it's
Crazy
more
in
real
a good
than
way.
anything on Thorough Black Talk, real talk.
Crazy in a good way, Brother Black. It's all good.
Uh-huh. I heard y'all on 138th in Grand Concourse. Y'all decided to just touch the tip.
Bad hombres. But if you can, family, I think somebody asked in the chat, is it on Prime? Yes. This is on Prime, so you can watch it if you have Prime membership. You can watch it, but I want to talk more about the family and their interactions. Right? Everyone knows the story, from the oldest to the youngest in the family. They know the story. I liked how they talked about their time growing up, what they call Silver Dollar Row or Merriman, North Carolina, Merriman, excuse me, North Carolina. And they talked about, you know, they had to create their own. They created their own beach because, they couldn't go to the public beach. People was up, white folks was up there with Confederate flags and whatnot on the beach. So they couldn't attend. So they developed their own, and people from neighboring towns, black people that is, would go down to the Silver Dollar Road. In the latter years, there was a club that one of the sons built there, and but we'll play this clip and hear a little bit more background about this film, and we'll come back and we'll discuss it. Hold on.
Sweet southern world.
Growing up in Beaufort, we really didn't have access to the area for swimming. And so my dad, he would always take us to Merriman. We didn't refer to it as Merriman then. We referred to it as Silver Dollar. And most of the people around here went down to the Silver Dollar. And they were a welcoming community. And most of the time you didn't have whites coming in to that community. So that was important. And so you did feel safe.
It was just the one place you could go and you wasn't worried about being targeted by the law, and you didn't have to feel like you were being harassed. You could just relax.
Uncle Like Curtis, just a humble person. So Uncle Like Curtis was always a brick mason. He worked with his hands. He's very lovable. He likes to sing. He likes to hum. He likes to eat. He's just that uncle that everybody loves.
Me and Like Curtis were close. We grew up in the house together. So we did a lot of things together, like partying. I don't know who told him he could dance. He couldn't dance. He just had this he was just a happy-go-lucky person. He loved people and he would laugh and joke. And so he was the person that to really have a good time with.
She's crazy like a fool.
First time I heard about Fantasy Island, I was like, where is Fantasy Island? I heard it on the radio. Later on in the announcement, they said down in Merriman. I said, down in Merriman. And they said, to the old Silver Dollar, And I said, oh, goodness, they talking about. And then that's when I start asking around about it. And they said, yeah, they opened up a little club down there. And Melvin was running, and it was called, and people were coming.
Every season it was something different. One year we had the Soul Train. We had the train painted on the floor with the tracks. And you go down the Soul Train run. I remember a lot of the Marines from Cherry Point would come down here.
Oh, we had a party, buddy. From all the way around, all the way from Little City come down and join us. It was black and white. Then, every weekend jam.
We had a guy come in with the Greyhound bus and DJ.
And when you come there with that DJ, the people follow the bus behind them and load this beach up. I would get different groups to come in and play on the beach, and we just have fun.
So again, if you can, sit and watch Silver Dollar Roll on Prime, and discuss it with your family. I know people personally who are going through this right now, in their own families, but this is something that we have to talk about. And I love the fact that when you guys watch this, you will see from every generation in the family, they talked about the power of the Black family and what it is. You have to see this piece. But Brother Tad, your thoughts.
Well, I always say that there's power in the Black family. I always encourage people to read the People History of the United States by Howard Zinn. He talks about during our enslavement, where the plantation owners and those powers that be realized that our power was in the family. That's why many don't know, but a lot of Caribbean people were allowed to stay intact with their family, take the culture, everything. Like, look, you can take your drums, you can take your practice, take all that. You're taking yourself over here, though. You're going over here. You want your mama to go, take your mama, your sister, your brother, everybody go. Here, it was a little different because as we were rebelling, they realized the whips didn't hurt, none of that hurt. What really gave us pain and made us fall in line was the threat to sell off the family. Don't take my child, don't take my mama, don't take my sister. And they said, that's what it is. That's the key. So ever since they realized what our superpower was and is, they've been adamantly and vigilantly seeking to destroy the family. And they realized they couldn't kill our body, they couldn't kill our mind. Well, they're killing our mind, but they couldn't kill our body, and they have put us on autopilot for us to start hating on one another. To the point that you fast forward to November 16th, 2023, our children don't even want to be parents no more. They don't even want to have children. So this is part of their plan. Our family don't want to reproduce anymore. They put abortion clinics in our community. They realize that the power is in our family. And if we start moving like a family, thinking like a family, acting like a family again, we could turn this thing around in no time. Because we'll start pooling our resources together. Because they bank on our ignorance. They look for our money. They look for us to buy fireworks and $10,000 nothings and all of this foolishness. We have more money on our back than we have in our bank account. $10,000 jacket, $20 in the bank. We don't have no emergency fund for nothing. If something like, I'm still amazed, and this is no knock on nobody, but I'm still amazed that in these days and times, in 2000 and anything, Black folks still don't got burial money. So when somebody died, people want to sell fish dinners and do GoFundMes. Like, my dude, this day and age, I remember in the 90s, we were told, look, our young people are being murdered. We need to get insurance. Our sons are being attacked. I was in that generation. Our children are being attacked. We need, and to keep it in reparations, they would say we need insurance. Why? Because during segregation, what many may not know, that the only insurance Black folks was allowed to get was burial insurance. You weren't allowed to get real life insurance or universal life insurance so that when you died, you got money to pass on to your children. White folks had that. So when we talk about the laws that were passed and try to include us in society, there's so much that we've been left out of that we don't even know has happened. So what can your grandparents teach you about insurance and generational wealth when they really didn't have it? They had to do, hand-to-hand sales. That's how they knew how to do business. Why? Because anytime we put it in the bank, we were robbed and swindled. Anytime we played by their rules, we were robbed and swindled. That's why our grandparents kept money in the mattress. So when you talk reparations, we got to look at all the banks that have robbed Black people. We got to look at redlining and how houses we would charge exorbitant prices for homes. in subpar neighborhoods, in communities. Like this is reparations is about, is to repair all the damage that has been done. So when Sister Keisha's talking to Hakeem Jeffries and he's talking about all these studies, how much more studies we gonna do? They've been studying for years. Dr. Kenneth and Mamie Clark did a study on the psychosis of racism on the children. Like, what more do you need? What the doll test? Dr. Kenneth and Mamie Clark did the doll test. And you fast forward to 2000 and something, it's still the same effects, that our children think white is better. But why do they think that? Where are these images coming from? Where this information coming from? This is why it's so important of what we do on this program, because we're giving you knowledge, we're giving you information so that you can in turn share with your family, so your family can teach it to the children, so they can have some pride about themselves. Be dignified young people and not run around like Sexy Red and all the rest of these idiots out here looking all crazy, becoming caricatures of what the enemy say we are. Because I will always bring up Jim Crow laws, because Jim Crow laws was based on a fictitious character named Jim Crow. Imagine they look at Sexy Red and say, all right, now we're doing Sexy Red laws. Anybody wear red hair, do this, that, and the third, you subject to arrest, and you can't come in these restaurants because the Sexy Red laws say so. Same premise for Jim Crow laws. They create fictitious characters, say this is all black people, and we're going to treat them as such, and they had laws. And again, a law is nothing but an opinion backed by violence. That's all the law is. We need our own laws within our community. But I'm going to step off my soapbox. That's how I feel, Sister Keisha. That's just me, though. You know what I'm saying? That's just me.
You said it right, brother. You ain't never lied.
Black
But
Promise.
and to add to my brother, the whole idea of how segregation, despite anything that we want to say, segregation was good for us because it kept us intact. Once we started being included in everybody's party, and even in that video, in that movie of Silver Dollar Road, they told you once segregation came, the people stopped coming down Silver Dollar Road. They stopped partaking in the festivities of Silver Dollar Road because they were included.
Let me say this real quick, and I'm going to give you the mic back.
No problem.
It was only what Malcolm would call the foxy liberals that wanted integration. People are changing the language like they do now. What our ancestors was fighting for was desegregation. Desegregation, not integration, desegregation. Stop saying I couldn't go here. Stop saying I couldn't go there. That is why the dude made the Green Book, because certain places you go do the segregation, you get killed.
Absolutely.
So he gave the book to let you know what's safe and what's not for black folks.
Absolutely.
Segregation laws. So what they wanted was desegregation, not integration, for us to be allowed to travel in peace. Because like you said, Dr. King has said the same thing. Just about everybody I knew said the same thing. Even elders that I've had conversations with always talk about how the businesses flourish before quote unquote integration, because our dollars left, because of misinformation. Again, those are the white liberals pushing it on us, like the white liberals is pushing this LGBTQIAA plus stuff on us now. Same folks trying to get things that don't benefit us or serve us. But go ahead, sis.
I 1,000% agree with you. And those organizations that lead these quote unquote national platforms that are saying, yes, sir, these things are good for you. Now you can go to the corner store and you could do this, you could do that. Stop being afraid of going to that corner store. And I don't know what I don't know. Maybe some folks didn't know the repercussions, but other folks already knew the repercussions. And we right now are facing the repercussions, and we have to try to sit there and reinforce the idea. Buy from Sister Keisha, buy from Brother Tad, buy from Brother Black, buy from Sister Marcia. We have quality merchandise, we have quality stuff, but we are fighting mega stores, Walmart, that's giving you everything at rollback prices. And everybody's like, why I gotta pay $9 for your stuff? I could go to Walmart and get it for $9.99 or 99 cents. And you're just like, go ahead. Go ahead. And then don't come talk to me about my community is failing because I'm trying to create a system here. But you don't want that system. Right? It's an uphill battle that we're facing. We can crush this battle, but like we all have been saying time after time, if our people don't get their minds right, we're going to keep cycling. And the only people that's going to suffer is our great grandchildren because they're going to turn around. You know, we have elders or we have historical knowledge to look back on and say, damn, look at this. What are our great grandchildren going to say about us? That's all I ask.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If we got reparations tomorrow and none of the laws change,
fireworks.
I didn't finish asking my question.
I answered it. Let me stop.
If we got reparations tomorrow and none of the laws change other than you get reparations now, what would change writ large?
See, I still go back to we're going to buy fireworks.
Well, the serious-minded people know where to put their money. You know, it's just like right now. Like I work in an office. We got a coffee club. Those of us put money together, get coffee. These bum asses don't even want to put no money in, but always want to drink coffee every morning. And then get mad when Mr. Cromwell say something, because I'm like, nah, get out of here. I'm like the coffee guard, like, nah, get out of here. Because we ask you to donate, you don't want to participate, but then you want to reap the benefits of other people's labor. Like we don't got nothing better to do with our money. We see it within our families.
Right. I want to say this real quick.
We see it within our families, and I always say you don't have to go far. Everybody gets money, but nobody wants to contribute to the house fund. But everybody want to be fly. Everybody want to get high. Everybody want to get drunk. Everybody want to be bent. It's people's priorities. And again, that's the value system. And as a family, we got to have that value system. Because if they give me my money, I'm not getting fresh. I'm already fresh. I'm already fly. You know what I'm saying? And I shop at discount prices. I always catch stuff on sale. That's the only way I'm going to buy it if it's on sale.
I don't buy nothing full price. Nothing.
Hey,
and you should never, ever pay full price. Or you a fool.
I love boosters.
We need to know where to put our money. And that's why financial literacy is so important. Because what we're talking about right now is just basic get your mind right. Get your mind right before you can do anything.
Right.
Because you want to make the right decision. Same as when you go to the gun range. They you know what I'm saying? They want to train you. They want to give you basic instructions before they put the gun in your hand. Make sure you're not bugged out. And then they on your back too anyway. Why you shooting? In case you decide you want to snap. Because everything is mindset. And it's very important we get our minds right because we still think in antiquated ways in this new age. The reset has already happened. COVID was the big reset. Orchestrated by the IMF, aka the Illuminati. They control the money. They control the form of the money. Before money was coins, and then it turned to paper, then it turned to plastic. Now it's digital. We got to keep up with the times on what money even looks like because cash used to be king, and you go to certain places, cash ain't no good no more.
Yeah.
In other places.
Where your Bitcoin's at?
Things really work, and we still playing around with it. But I digress. Step off my soapbox.
Where your Bitcoin's at? So Tad, at the coffee pot, y'all fighting for K-cups?
Nah, we don't fight for nothing. I just put the law down.
Hey, Tad.
Law is an opinion backed by violence. And I am the law.
Okay.
Hey, Tad, I used to tell people in my family that when I was running my jibs back in the day, about the stuff we talking about now, as far as if I'm fighting for us to be free and you ain't did a damn thing, then why should I even hand you any power? It don't work that way. You got to work for what you want. That's what I'm fighting for. I'm not fighting against you. I'm fighting for you and for me.
Help me fight. Right. Help me fight. I'm fighting for all of us.
Or step aside.
Because we definitely getting punches to the face and kicks to the guts. Because this is not an easy fight. This is not an easy fight. We getting our ass kicked out here. God bless Dr. King and Malcolm X. Getting our ass kicked.
We remember when boxing was real, when Mike Tyson was the man from the Bronx.
What?
Oh boy!
Cut his camera, his mic. We about to have
everything. He bought from the rest of the evening. You will not hear nothing else from Brother Blacksmith. He's violated in the worst way right now. So I'm telling y'all now, for the rest of the evening, his mic is cut. That's it. It's over. But Sister Marcia sent me this link. We hope is legit. And they have the Prime logo, so they better be, or somebody going to prison. Because Soros don't play. I mean, not Soros. Bezos don't play.
Bezos, yeah.
They got their own police squad. I hope y'all know that Amazon has its own law enforcement.
I can believe it. Nike has it too in Indonesia. Nike literally has a police force.
This means that Amazon is its own government. They have their own standing army. You have a standing army, you have a government. Period. But anyway,
his government is the Washington Post.
Anyway, yeah, he always spewing garbage on it. But anyway, this is the GoFundMe. You guys, it's in the chat. Can get it, do what you with it as you will. But the director, Mr. Raoul Peck, again, I like his work. I like when he did Exterminate the Brutes, all the Brutes on HBO. It was a great film series, docuseries. But we'll get a little bit more background and we'll come back and discuss and close this out. Here we go.
I was told by Alderman Stephanie Coleman.
Well, tonight on the podcast, ladies.
Sorry about that, family. Hold on one second. I don't know what happened to my link here. They be messing with my stuff. But give me a second and I'll bring it back up. But I want y'all to keep in mind that, this happens with so many of us, right? And as Brother Tad said, or Sister Pat said, excuse me, in the chat, we aren't taught to be communal with our family, right? A lot of people can't get along with their family, and I respect that too, because some families just bat crazy. You just can't rock with them. It is what it is, and I definitely understand that. But the foundation of how we should be has been messed up out here, and we got a lot to fix. We definitely have a lot to fix, and this family is in a fight. And again, I said I know of families who are currently fighting the same situation. We have people in the chat who are upset with family members who have sold off the land or the houses that their ancestors or loved ones lived in. And we got to fix these problems. We got to fix these problems. It's serious business, because if you think, what's his name, Mr. Microsoft, why his name escapes me right now,
Bill Gates.
Yeah, Mr. Gates is not a part of this land grab mission. You are outside of your mind. And where does most of our produce and food comes from? A lot of the southern states. So that's where the land grab has been going on for quite some time. But here I got the clip back. We're going to listen to Mr. Raoul Peck and we'll come back.
Oh, note that he's a Haitian man.
Together after the screening of I Am Not Your Negro here in Washington, Raoul, 7 years ago next month. So I want to pick up the conversation along the lines of what I said in the intro. Tell us who the Reels family is and how their story exemplifies capitalism, racism, colonialism, exploitation, and injustice.
Well, who the family is, I think the film will do a better job to show who this family is and what their ordeals have been for all those years. But for me, the thematic exemplify indeed the core story of this republic. We know that this country was built on land that was stolen from the indigenous people. And we know as well that Black people were enslaved to work on that land. And the whole concept of private property, which came from the European invading this country, became the necessary tool for the expansion of capital. So we are touching right there the whole DNA of what this country is, and we are living today the result of all this, where you see not only black farmers and poor people, white and minorities losing their field, losing their farms, not being able to benefit all the institutional program that exists, but also in the urban setting through gentrification. You are living in a city that is historically a majority black. And when you go through the streets of Washington today, you see the changes. So it's the same story that goes again and again, that have basically imploded to a state where today a big chunk of the population don't have the means to sustain themselves, to build any wealth, and to pass that wealth down.
Now, you learned about the Reels story from a story that ProPublica did about them, and it reported Black Americans lost 90% of their farmland between 1910 and 1997. We have a clip from
90%. Black Americans have lost 90% of their farmland.
Silver Dollar Road that explains how the Reels family was affected by this. Let's take a look.
Elijah Reels was my great-great-grandfather. He farmed the property, had a family upon the property, and unfortunately, in 1939, he lost the property due to back taxes. His son, Mitchell Reels, then purchased the property in 1944 at the courthouse doors due to back taxes. Unfortunately, in 1970, Mitchell died without a living will, and the property then became the heirs of Mitchell Reels. And that's when all our legal problems started. Heirs property is property that has been left to an onslaught of family members. So there was a document that was conveyed that my grandmother and her siblings did in fact own the 65 acres after a court proceeding. So it was ruled that the 65 acres did belong to the Mitchell Reels heirs.
So, Raul, what are heirs?
Again, family, we hope sometime soon you'll be able to check out that documentary on Prime Network, and come back and let us know how you like it. We are going to be off next week. I hope that you all spend some good quality times with your close friends and family, and get to learn a little bit more about your family or your friends, right? You can tell your friend's story, your friend's family story. Some of us, we got friends from when we was kids. I could tell my best friend's family story just like I could tell mine. So we have to have these gatherings. We have to, in order to change the dynamic of what we're seeing, what's being put before us, what's being shoved down our throat. That begins with the family. When I come around my family, they know I'm going through photo albums, whatever documents you got. I want to hear stories, all that, for real. They'll tell you, I ain't lying. So, it's going to be valuable. It's going to be valuable to you very, very soon. But we about to roll up out of here. Brother Blacksmith, your final thoughts and commentary. You got to unmute. See, I cut his mic. See, that's what happened.
You told me I wasn't going to talk no more today.
See how nice Brooklyn is?
I got scared. I just left it on mute. I ain't even going to change it. No,
seriously. See how nice we are to the Bronx, y'all? I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, real talk. Did y'all witness any of that green goo coming from the sewers last week and early this week? Excuse me.
No.
Y'all ain't hear about that? Okay, well, look out for that. Some pro-Palestinians stormed the White Capitol, I believe, yesterday or something like that. This thing, I don't believe is going to go as far as everybody's thinking. I believe it's a lot of psyops involved in this, and not actual, like, 50,000 people dying every day. And I don't believe that. We got the Ukraine war winding down, and the thing in Israel ain't gonna last much longer. Y'all just hold tight. I'm feeling it in my bones more every day that this flash is gonna happen. And when that flash happens, none of the conversations we having now is gonna be transpiring, because we're gonna have superpowers. So with that said, I'm gonna pass the chakra over to Tad and see if he catch the crystal. And
we're gonna pass it to Marcia. We're gonna pass it to Marcia.
Oh, my bad. That was more making fun. But go ahead, sis Marcia. Peace,
Which infinity stones are you throwing at me? Because I hope Thanos build that ring, build the snappy thing.
For you, clear crystal quartz.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
You wasn't ready for that answer, right?
No, thank you. I have clarity. I appreciate it. I got it. Brothers and sisters, this is family season. Please be mindful of your family. Be kind to them. Be helpful to those in need. It is my birthday season, so shout me out when y'all eating your turkey. I'm going to receive it through the ethers. I can't say anything more than I appreciate this program. I appreciate the Reels family and those brothers that dedicated 9 years to saving their land in honor of their ancestors. If more of us will take that much of a stand, they will stop playing with us. They keep playing with us because we're not standing up. We need to start standing up and supporting one another. I encourage everyone to start fighting where you stand. Somewhere down the line, you must start fighting. And if you don't start fighting, too bad for your grandchildren. Just remember, your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, they're going to be looking out for you. They're going to be doing the genealogy of who you were and who will they say you were. Just remember that. So be kind to one another and let time manifest. Gobble, gobble. Peace, Brother Tad, to you.
Wobble, wobble, shake it. All right, family, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I want to thank our regulars as well as some new people who may have just chimed in and heard us for the first time. We like to have fun here, but also have serious conversation. So as we have a conversation about reparation, we have to connect with our genealogy. We have to know our family history is very important, because that's the tool they're going to use to try to disconnect us from our rightful compensation for the labor of our ancestors and all that's been stolen. But I think it's very important that you do create a new paradigm for your family. Have conversations about wealth building. Have conversations about what the family value system is going to be. If you got to create a mission statement for the family, let that be the case. However, I think now more than ever, we need to stick together as family. Any issues we may have had, we need to put them behind us. We need to work for the group. All right, think for yourself, but work for the group. So hopefully you learned something here tonight and you were inspired. So it's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Family, again, thank y'all for joining us for another great episode of Thorough Black Talk Worldview. We appreciate each and every one of you, because you can do anything you want on Thursdays, but you choose to spend it with us and engage in real dialogue and conversation. Sister Marcy, you have a seat for me on Saturday?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm pulling up. I'll be there early too.
Oh, I'm gonna be there a little late.
Okay. So,
but I'll tell you who to meet up with.
Bet.
I already put your name and everything, so you're good.
Good. So
okay.
I'll see the family on Saturday. Pizzo, Aunt Marie, let me know if y'all hanging out at Aunt Laylene house next Friday, because I'm pulling up for real. But as you hear more and more, family, about these town hall meetings with these politicians, don't be afraid to pull up. Don't be afraid to pull up. Just know what you're talking about. Never let them deter what the real mission is. Stay on point, and stay focused. If you don't know how to do it, here it is. Good night, y'all. We are out.
She's a force. So a part of that act was that $20,000 you saw to each of the 100,000 surviving folks who were interned in those camps, largely on the West Coast. But there was also an educational component to make sure that the story lived on. And another leg of that agreement was that people who had resisted the orders and were essentially outlaws were forgiven. Right. So that's the context of the act that the United States tried to make right for what happened to folks of Japanese heritage during World War II. There's a question here.
You mentioned that, it would take more conversation, more study to figure out exactly where we can allocate reparations from. But Israel didn't have to do that. So why do we have to do that? And when you mention Conyers' 1984 initiation of the reparations study, that's ridiculous. All these years and you're still talking, and now Sheila Jackson Lee picks it up? No more conversation. There's a reason why you have over 20 candidates on the Democratic Party. Is because they lost their black base, and we are finished. We are done, and we will get ours by hook or crook, as Malcolm said, by any means necessary. I don't want to hear about what Ta-Nehisi Coates is talking about during former President Barack Obama's presidency. We are clear in that. Those two presidencies were a presidency for the LGBTQ, had nothing to do with African people, although we put him in office 98%, twice. So then I say to you Africans who are in the room, are you still going to take lip service, or are we going to rightfully take what is ours? You cannot mellow out racism. White supremacy invests over $1 trillion into itself yearly. There is no way we can diddy-dally with that at all. You are who you are. Be what you are. But we are coming into our own. And the new voices of independent Black media and others are fed up. So either you're on the same page with us, or we're going to run you over. I don't want to hear about institutions that will help us to educate ourselves a little bit better, to work within a white supremacist system. That no longer works. I know my heritage. I have certificates from 2 uncles who fought for our freedom during the American Civil War. My uncles did that. Lincoln didn't give us nothing. Those Black men and women fought for our freedom. 2 of my great-great-grandparents owned speakeasies right here in Brooklyn before the Irish came and rioted and took it from them. I'm clear on who my people are. I am clear on my heritage, and I want what's mine by hook or crook.